I'm going to invite you to think for a moment about the best coach you ever had in a sport. Who's the best coach that you ever had? Just think about that for a moment. For those who haven't played sports, maybe the best band instructor or music instructor or art instructor, even teacher. Who's the best teacher? And what was it about that characteristics about that person, that coach, or that instructor, teacher, that really, why you really treasure them, why you really admire them or like them? In today's gospel, Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. Okay? The hireling is just in it for selfish motive, for pay. And if the wolf comes, that if it gets difficult in time, requires a sacrifice, they're out of there. But not for Christ. I remember when I was in 5th grade, I had a teacher named Mr. Matnich in St. Cloud. Mr. Matnich was a big guy, and he was left-handed. And when we got to be full of energy and couldn't sit still, he had us go down in the gym, and we'd run around the perimeter of the gym, and he'd take rubber balls and he'd throw them at us. And we thought that was exciting. And he just wanted us to get our energy out. But anyway, Mr. Manich, I used to say to him, I'm such a slow reader. I can't read fast at all. And he'd say, well, no, I think you can do better than you think. He says, well, how many pages can you read an hour? I said, I don't know. Best I can do is 30. And he says, well, we're going to have a test. And he sat me down on this little mat in the side, and he says, okay, your goal is to read 40 pages in the next hour. Let's see if you can do it. And I kind of did it. But he believed in me, and he encouraged me. It was kind of a little moment of coaching, if you will. And I always remembered that. He was a kind of favorite teacher of mine because of it. He took a little bit of extra attention. There was a teacher here at St. Thomas, Bob Garhart, was in the economics department. And he's deceased at this time, but I remember that of all the comrades in economics, we loved that guy and admired that guy because, one day a week, he would spend extra time tutoring students. And he would give without, counting the cost. And coaches are very important. I remember also once in 8th grade, had the season playing basketball. And after the season, we were going to get together with our coach, and he bought a case of beer. So think about that. You have 14 8th graders, well, a few 7th graders, sitting around with a coach, drinking a case of beer to celebrate the season. Would you do that as a coach? Would you do that? Well, I had never tasted beer before, and I felt like guilty. But the All-Star game was coming up, and somehow I got in that. I don't know, but in any case, another kid in the team too, and he could see I was having a difficulty with this, and he said, well, they play in the All-Star game, so they shouldn't have any now. And I kind of had my out there. But afterwards, I look back at that, and I say, he was not the best witness. 8th graders, okay? Case of beer. I know some parents who say, well, I'm going to have my kids drink in the house because at least I can see them. We'll drink here. I say, well, all right, I'm glad you want to have your kids be comfortable with you and that they would be open with you about what's really going on in their life. But I think it would be better if you kind of told them we want to follow the law and not drink until we're of age. That would be my suggestion. Well, Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. What does that mean? Well, first of all, he is living love. He is the coach that gives extra time to help you, to help me grow in the spiritual life. He is the one who says, I will do it with sacrifice and not count the cost. In fact, I will do it to the point of dying for you. You know, imagine dying for somebody on a team, not even a family member. And he says, I will teach you the truth and the ideal, and I will have courage to do it, even though the whole world may not, even though they may be rushing down in what is politically correct or what is a worldly lifestyle. But I am going to lead you in the way of virtue and happiness. Okay? Now, I just finished with this. I watched a movie with the guys this week from my floor, and the movie is called Scarlet and the Black. Scarlet and the Black. I highly recommend it. Rent the movie. It's oldie but goodie. It's not the modern, so there's this priest named Father O'Flaherty, and he works in the Vatican, and it's during the time of World War II, and he has to decide, is he going to help the Jews? Is he going to help, war? Those who are fighting for the good guys? What's he going to do? And of course, he doesn't count the cost. He extends himself in sacrificial love like a true good pastor would. So Scarlet and the Black, if you're looking for a good movie to rent. Well, now I want you to think about your own life. You're a kind of coach. You're a kind of pastor. Do you have younger brothers and sisters? Do you have nieces and nephews? Are there people who look up to you in your life? Are you a tutor in the department of what you're studying, the science of what you're studying? There are people who need you to be a good coach for them, to be a good pastor for them. So let's now think about the witness of Christ and those who've been that for us, and ask the Lord to help us be Jesus, the good shepherd for others.